One day after Austin Hurst worked a grueling 35-hour Mother's Day weekend behind the grill at Red Lobster, he found out he'd lost his job.
I found out through a customer who showed up at the locked doors. General manager never reached out. Corporate never reached out. I still haven't received an email.
The 22-year-old, one of thousands of Red Lobster employees, suddenly unemployed after the chain restaurant filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, shutting down nearly 100 locations across 28 states.
As soon as Mother's Day was done, they shut the doors and didn't tell anybody.
Over the next few days, media reports mostly blamed the company's financial woes on one thing.
Endless shrimp? Endless shrimp.
Bottomless shrimp doesn't come with a bottomless budget, folks.
The endless shrimp promotion, which let diners eat as much shrimp as they could for just $20. And while it did cause an $11 million loss, experts say that's not what sank the boat.
The endless shrimp is not the reason Red Lobster is in bankruptcy. The fundamental problem is that Red Lobster got involved in what's called private equity.
Former Labor Secretary Robert Reich blames private equity firm Golden Gate Capital, which bought Red Lobster in 2014.
Golden Gate Capital stripped away all the real estate, valuable real estate, meaning that Red Lobster restaurants had to pay rent on all of its real estate.
The move put $1.5 billion right into the coffers of Golden Gate, but forced Red Lobster to start paying $200 million in rent every year. Golden Gate declined to comment when NBC News reached out. It's a strategy called asset stripping, originally favored by the infamous corporate raiders of the 1980s.
Well, I don't sell the whole company. I break it up into pieces, and then I sell that off. It's worth more than the whole.
So it's sort of like stealing cars and selling them for the parts, right?
Yeah, sort of, but legal.
And asset stripping is still practiced today by the descendants of those raiders, private equity.
It's like exposing a company to a new risk, a new problem. If there's any kind of turbulence in the atmosphere, that company will not survive.
There are times when asset stripping is effective at saving companies.
It happened with Safeway in 1988. It happened with Hilton Hotels in 2008. So sometimes they're coming in and providing that necessary cash and the investments to turn these companies around.
But the list of victims of asset stripping include iconic American companies like Sears and Kmart. And some are even more alarmed by private equity's tactics in the healthcare industry.
They just want to monetize it. They just want to get more wealthy. But it's at the price of the health of every citizen in our country.
Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey is fighting to pass a bill that would vastly increase government oversight of private equity after asset stripping drove several Massachusetts hospitals to the brink of closing.
If you kick them in the heart, you're going to break your toe if it comes to health care. And we just have to make sure they're not allowed to do it any longer.
So, Hallie, what happens in bankruptcy? It's a reorganization, right? It's going to try to get rid of some of its obligations, use the court sort of as a shield to find a way to move forward. And that could be, finding a buyer eventually to bring this company through to the other side. But what's really clear is over the past years, even decades, there's been a parade of CEOs. There's been a business that has been shrinking. I mean, diner traffic is down something like 30% since 2019. So all of these different things came together to really sort of sink this company. The question is, does the bankruptcy court, allow it to get the breathing space to come out on the other side? How?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.